Hi, everybody. Mischa here with Word of the Day, and there it is Vox Populi. What does this noun phrase, Vox Populi, mean? It means the voice of the people, and it implies a democratic process and the rights of individual people to determine their fate. Now, where does it come from? Well, clearly it comes from Latin, and we take it unnaturalized straight into English, although today we use both the term vox populi and the voice of the people. And you see vox populi in things like vox blogs, where they discuss things that apply to everyday humans. Now, it comes into English in one of the most important events in the history of England and in the history of democracy in 1327. Here's what happened. Edward II was the king, and he was just frankly a very lousy king. I mean, he sucked pretty bad. And so he wasn't listening to the parliament, he wasn't listening to the barons, he wasn't listening to the people. So they all got together and they fired him. They delivered a document that said Vox Populi, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And we don't like that you are such a lousy, incompetent ruler, that you don't know what you're doing, that you are neglecting the empire, the realm, and you are listening to evil counselors and playing favorites, which doesn't help the country. Well, as I said, it was the very first time in history that they just fired the king. And so, Vox Populi is still in our language today and more important than ever. So, I'm going to give you 3 sentences to get an idea of how to use it. First, how about this? The Vox Populi, the voice of the people, is usually a force for good, but sometimes people are mobs. Let's be honest. Okay, how about this? The Vox Populi is only effective when you raise your voice. And finally, my own personal Vox Populi, because you know I had to have one. Here it is. I was bemused by the fact that a year ago, we boomers, my generation, were castigated as selfish, self centered fat cats who didn't care about anybody but ourselves. And today, we are now castigated for being too widely present in the No Kings March. Well, make up your mind, you guys. I'll tell you the truth here. In the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, who do you think was marching in those demonstrations for voting rights, civil rights, against the war in Vietnam, women's rights, gay rights, Earth Day? Who do you think those people were? They were boomers. And that's why you shouldn't be at all surprised that we are leading the way and raising our Vox Populi. So, you know what? Raise your voice or get out of the way because we're coming. Okay, put that in the comments right there, and I'll see you later. Remember, we buy books from independent booksellers whenever we can. So if you're kind of a history nut like I am, maybe you'll want to read, this is volume 1 of the history of England. Edward II, that lousy king, he's in this part. There's also the second part of the history of England. So if you're a history nut, buy your history books somewhere other than the big boys. Give the independent booksellers a chance by clicking the link below or above, and here it is. bookshop.org/shop/word of the day. Right, Looney? That's my girl. See you later.